All right, fourth grade. So our ELA lesson today is continuing to discuss our incline planes that we were able to read and find out main ideas about. Okay, so from yesterday, we continued with our book, Incline Planes. So today what we're going to do is, again, look back into the book and provide some examples of incline planes and how those specific incline planes help us. Okay, so I'm going to continue to look in the book, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples, but then it's going to be your job as I slowly turn the pages for you to go back into the text and find some more. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 examples, and you're going to have to see how many more you can find. So my first example, found on page 8 and 9, is one that we're very familiar with, and it's the ramp. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write that down. I can write the page number, I don't have to. Page 8 and 9, just in case I need to go back and find more information for it. Okay, so how does a ramp help us? I'm not going to reread all of it, but I'm going to leave the page up so you can go back and reread, looking for information. But while you are looking at what's on page 8 and 9, I'm going to go ahead to the side and write how they help us, and then share when you're finished reading these 2 pages again. All right, so going back to my notes, using our T-chart, again, the example was a ramp down on page 8 and 9, and how they help us is that a ramp makes loading and unloading heavy objects easier. It's not a complete sentence. There's no capital, no punctuation. These are notes, so it's okay if it's like that, just for the notes. Okay. All right. So as I continue to look onto the next page, pages 10 and 11, and actually 12 and 13 also talk about less effort over a greater distance. I remember these 2 pages talking about how this boy was using a lot of effort going up a mountain. Okay, and on the next page, talked about how it might get you there faster if you go straight up a mountain, sure, but by the time you're at the top, you're going to be completely winded. It's a lot of this, like, I can't catch my breath, right? So rather than being completely defeated by the time you get to the top, going on something such as a trail that might take a little bit longer, but there are a lot more advantages going up a trail rather than going straight up this slanted hill or mountain. Okay, so my second example I'm going to write is a trail. And I found that on page 12 and 13 specifically. Okay, so as I'm writing that down, just go ahead and rereading these 2 pieces right there and seeing what I'm going to take away from that. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and show you again what my example is and how they help us. So again, the example provided that I chose was the trail. Pages 12 and 13 tells us a little bit more about that. And a trail helps you because it is less effort to get to the top, okay, and it provides time to enjoy the view. This could be helpful in a lot of different ways. Is it something that makes it less time consuming, less time to get to the top? No, not necessarily, but because this is something that could be fun to do, okay, then enjoyment also makes it helpful to us in that way, okay? So less effort to get to the top, might take a little bit longer, but that's okay because the view could be enjoyable, which is also pretty fun, okay? All right, so these are my 2 examples that I'm going to give you. I'm not going to tell you how many more in the book, but I'm going to say there's definitely more than 2. So your job is to now see how many of those you can find, and I want you to continue with this T-chart and find all of the examples providing a reason where in the text it tells you how they are helpful to us. Okay, so as you're thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and continue to look through the book. Again, we're not going to need to go anywhere in prior to this page, so we're just moving forward. So none of the information that you're going to need to collect is going to be before page 13. So looking ahead, and I'll keep it here. When you get to this position, I don't need to wait about 4 or 5 minutes for you to read it. You can just press pause when you get to this part of the video so that I don't have to have that quiet pause for 4 or 5 minutes. So just pause when you get here if you need to read it. Okay, and then I'm going to continue. And if you find something that is an example of an inclined plane, write it down on the left side column, and then how it is helpful to you. Inclined plane, again, is an example of a simple machine. A simple machine is defined as something that makes work easier, makes doing something a little bit with less effort. So how does an inclined plane help you or work in life to make something easier with less effort? Okay. Again, I'm not going to hold this page and be quiet for 4 or 5 minutes. Just when you get to this point, pause if you need to continue to read, because I don't expect you to read this in less than 60 seconds. Okay. Okay. All right. So I have provided you the 2 examples and reasons. I want you to come up with the more than 2 that are in the book that we just flipped through the pages of. So between pages 14 and 22, there are more than 2 examples and reasons. I want you to find as many as you can. For those of you that find all of the ones that are listed, great, you guys get a star. Okay, if you only find 2, keep looking. And that's the only clue I'm giving you as to how many you should have, okay? More than 2, keep going. Don't ask me if it's 5. Don't ask me if it's 3. Don't ask me if it's 4 or 44, okay? Just keep looking. Okay, again, we're working on finding examples of inclined planes from our book, Inclined Planes, and a reason as to why you think they help us. Where in the text does it say that they are helpful in which way? And what do you know about them? Okay, you know what to do if you have questions, please ask. You guys can do this. If you guys are able to finish this today, just upload to Google Docs. I will check it and give you some feedback. Okay, please make sure you're doing your best. Work hard. Simply try. Okay, miss you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And more than 2, you can do it. All right.